This is the Fat Bois Anime Podcast. Welcome back to Fat Bois Anime. Here we are.
What up?
Yeah, let's go. Here today, we're going to be reviewing Fire Force Season 1, mainly Season 2, and we're also going to get into our first versus matchup. Light Yagami, aka Kira, versus Ush, aka Zero. Let's get it, boys.
Let's do it, boys. I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this episode.
Yeah, what the heck you guys been watching this week, though?
Oh, man. I kind of just watched all my anime yesterday. A lot of these guys pop up on Saturday, but, you know, I'm a little upset, man, because a lot of these animes I watched this past weekend have left me on cliffhangers, and I just hate cliffhangers, man. I hate having to wait, a whole week just to see what's going on. But the one I got most hyped about, I've been pretty hyped about this all season long, is Haikyuu. It's that volleyball sports team anime one. But man, they've been like battling this team they're playing against is like the second ranked team in like the nation or something like that, and just back and forth right now, man. It got me on my feet.
I still don't know how you do that every single week thing. I have to build it up. Like, I couldn't end on a cliffhanger and then just not watch the next one. It doesn't really work for me.
It's tough, man. It's just, if it's one of those ones where I feel like, I don't know. See, it just depends. Like, if I have like a certain anime that I'm kind of like doing that already with, then I'll probably put those on the back burner and then like let them build up. But I'm not really doing that right now with some anime. So I'm just kind of like, watching them all as they come out. Been kind of busy too lately with work, so it's been hard to like binge watch one in one day or in a week or something like that.
You just gotta not sleep. That's the only way to do it.
I've been thinking about that lately.
Well, there's a lot of stuff coming out right now. I mean, we've got Attack on Titan dropped today. Oh, let's go. We're gonna be watching later. Dr. Stone is gonna be dropping in January. I think unfortunately I heard Bleach got postponed till 2020. We might be waiting a little while on that one.
Man, I've been waiting for so long for Bleach that, I kind of given up hope that I don't even think it's going to come out still. So hopefully we're wrong. Oh, you know what? I've been reading a lot of manga, though, this past week. You know what? I trashed, in our if you guys watched our last episode, we did our, top duos. And there's one duo that one of us had on our list that I might have to give a little more credit now that I'm caught up with the manga. And that is on Nick's list. That is Bakugo and Deku, man.
Boy, I'm telling you, they foreshadowed. This is going to be an awesome duo going forward.
It was cracking me up. I was reading it. Oh, man. But, man, that manga right now, I'm not going to spoil anything, is insane. It's crazy right now what's going on. It's freaking popping. That's all I'm going to say. It's popping.
Do you do any physical copies of manga, or do you mostly read online somewhere?
Mainly online. I have a couple books and stuff like that, but just trying to do it on easier.
Not necessarily a collector.
Yeah, it's hard
mangas.
because I know if I read a lot of manga too, so if I collected it, man, I'd have to have a whole room full of just all that stuff, and I don't think the lady would like that. So got to keep it on the DL.
Yeah, I had that in my hometown. Well, our hometown, I guess. There was a guy who collected life-size superhero action figures, and he opened up a comic book shop just because his wife wouldn't let him keep them in the house anymore. So the only reason he had the shop is so he could have all his collectibles.
Imagine how like much of a legend you got to be. You're like, you know what? I'm going to just open up my own shop so I have a reason to have this so my lady don't get mad at me. I mean, that's legend stuff right there.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but did Fairy Tail come back, the manga? I've been seeing stuff that now they've got the manga continuing where the anime left off.
So they have, so I don't know if you remember the anime, but they always talked about this one quest. It's called the 100-Year Quest.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't know if you remember, but Gildarts, they talked about Gildarts attempting to do that quest, and he came back and he couldn't do it. But so where the manga is continuing at is called the 100-Year Quest Fairy Tail. So essentially, the original gang, you got Natsu, Gray, Lucy, Urza, Wendy. They're all attempting to try to do this 100-Year Quest, it's pretty cool, man. Essentially, they're fighting a bunch of dragons. So.
And it's supposed to have more like a romantic vibe, right? So you see kind of Lucy and Natsu get together a little bit closer.
Go. Yeah, they're supposed to like kind of build more on those relationships. I'm enjoying it so far. So far, so good. So can't complain about it.
I was gonna say.
But also to have rumored Hunter x Hunter coming back 2021. Have you guys seen that?
I did not see that.
What do you? I don't know if it's gonna happen, but if it does,
I know.
Man,
I always hate like looking at those ones that are like in a year from now, because more times than not, I feel like I've been disappointed because they have gotten postponed or pushed back quite a bit. So I'm like, trying not to get too excited about it, but I don't know. It's pretty close if it does.
I mean, you can't leave us off like that. Gon just loses his powers. Him and Killua break up. He's probably working at a ramen shop. You got to bring it.
No doubt. I mean, come on. That made my list. That's a legendary anime. There it is, legendary. So,
legendary.
Yep. What have you guys been watching this week? Anything from you guys?
Just watching more One Piece. I feel like I'm going to be watching one for the rest of my life, but I finally finished the whole Cake Island arc. So I'm just finishing up season 13, about to start season 14, and finally get into the Wano arc that I've been seeing and reading so much about.
You're such a rookie, man.
Wano means penguin poop?
Oh, that's
you
terrible.
Serious?
Yeah, guano.
Wano?
Like Guano. Yeah, that means
What
penguin poop.
Where'd you get guano from? It's Wano.
Guano.
W-A-N-O.
Oh.
All right, we're getting
Never
canceled.
mind, maybe
We're
that's
getting
a little
kicked
bit
off the
better.
internet.
Well, there's your fun fact for the day, everyone, is Gano means penguin poop. We'll fit that in. Probably not, just you didn't.
Hey, this
hear
is
that.
an educational podcast too. Let it be.
It is.
Today is brought to you by the letter G.
And, if you guys never noticed, man, we're going on this journey. We're trying to get these chumps catched up in the anime world. They love anime. They like anime a lot. But we're trying to increase that number of how much anime they watch. So, these guys are still, they're still like Genin level.
Well, let me say this really quick. I'm probably about to lose all credibility. But the only reason I'm this far behind on One Piece is because I was waiting for it to come out dubbed. If anyone knows about One Piece dubbed, they're not doing it. They're never going to catch up dubbed. So I just had to say, all right, I'm about to watch it with the subtitles. Let's get it. I started in February on the Fishman Island arc, and I've been grinding all the way through. We're not even at a year yet, and I've already watched like 300 episodes. So I'm feeling pretty good.
That's still Genin level stuff, man. When I watched One Piece, I watched it all because I was moving to San Francisco when I was back in Albuquerque. I watched it all in a month and a half.
Oh, I'm trash. Okay.
I think you'll be an eternal getting if you're only watching dub too.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we're going to get into that on why Tyler is so just that awful because he's watching dubbed instead of subbed. I mean, everyone knows out there already, so I mean, this guy, I don't know. He's too busy taking like 2-hour-long showers that he can't watch subbed, so he has to go to dubbed. Come on now.
Okay, as I've been watching One Piece subbed, I gotta say I gotta give more credit to subbed. But on average, there's a lot of things dubbed that are just as good, if not better. Maybe not the majority, but Dragon Ball Z 100% is way better dubbed.
Dragon Ball Z doesn't really count because like that came out on Toonami, so that's like all we had originally. You know what I mean? Now that we have the option of having both, usually for a lot of animes, it's like hands down subbed 100%. Those voice actors are way better. Like I agree with you though. Like since I grew up watching Dragon Ball Z on dubbed for like forever, that when I listen to it on subbed, I'm like, oh man, subbed is awful on Dragon Ball Z or Yu Yu Hakusho too. Yu Yu Hakusho is another one that I got to do on dubbed.
Oh yeah, definitely.
There's like 2 animes, man, maybe 3. So I don't know where you're getting that they can compete casually dubbed versus subbed. You're wrong about that.
Have you ever thought you started to know Japanese? The other day I watched through like half a subbed episode without subtitles, and I was like, did I just understand that? I didn't have to go back and rewatch any of it.
No, you catch up on it. Like, you recognize some words. I'll be making snacks or something like that, and then I kind of hear it, and I'm like kind of keeping up what's going on. You can tell by their emotions too, which is pretty cool. But I told you guys a story that one time I watched. It was a Lull in the Sea anime. I just binge watched that whole anime in one day, 2 days I think it was technically. But I watched it all with no subtitles, and I didn't realize until I was like 2 episodes, like the second episode from the last one in. I was like kind of like I got panicked. I'm like, yo, where the subtitles at? And I went back to all the other animes that showed watched, and never there. And I don't even know how. I feel like I just had superpowers that day, and I understood everything. I just understood Japanese with how much anime I watch and all that other stuff. Like, I feel like I should know it already, but I don't. I'm awful at it still. But that day, I don't know. My brain was working. Maybe because like half of it was like at 4 a.m. So I just was too tired and I didn't realize. But I've been there before as well too, and it's actually pretty cool when you realize it.
So you're saying like some mornings you wake up and you just have a katana next to the side of your bed and you don't know how it got there?
Oh man, sometimes I'm in full ninja gear, man. I'm over here. I got like 3 tails of the 9-tailed fox popped out of me, and I'm just running wild. I'm just running wild.
You're driving down the road and your car turns into a Nissan Skyline.
It's like 2 inches off the ground.
Oh god. We'll run through it, man. But I'm excited, man. Why don't you lead us into the topic for today, Tyler?
All right, boys. So we are reviewing and gonna do a rate of Fire Force. All right, we're only into season 2, but Fire Force is starting off strong. It's kind of one of the new gen animes. If you haven't watched it, definitely got to give it a try. They've got it on Crunchyroll, Funimation, I believe Hulu as well. But so Fire Force, if you wanted to break down Fire Force, it's basically if you threw firebenders into a fire department. They're basically firebending firefighters that kill and destroy demons. I mean, I don't know if it gets any better than that.
And it's such a simplistic idea, right? They're like, let's make an anime about firefighters, and they fight fires, but the fires are monsters. And that's the whole concept of the show, but they execute it so well.
I agree, man. Well, honestly, when this anime was first coming out, I thought it was just gonna be cool in general because I've watched like some cop and detective animes before, and I thought it was gonna legit kind of be more of your casual firefighters just fighting fires, just with an anime twist on it. But the way they're doing this is just, awesome. I'm loving this anime right now. Nothing to complain about. Season 2 is, I'm enjoying it, man. They're just diving more into depth about, the evangelists, the white clad, some good scraps, man. Oh, just liking this anime right now. Nothing to really complain about.
And it draws a lot of parallels to Fairy Tail in the way they develop their characters and kind of team build to building their squad or their guild, So I see a lot of parallels there, but they're executing a story which hopefully it turns out in a little better direction than Fairy Tail has so far.
Well, and one thing I really like about season 2 is that they gave us some more backstory into Joker. Now, Joker's story got kind of twisted there for a second. I was like, gosh, what's happening? But you see, they got a cool team up of Benimaru and Joker. Probably that was dope.
Man.
I mean, because
come on,
anytime you see Benimaru in Fire Force, it's a treat.
Put it down.
That guy, he just rolls up, starts unloading the clip, and he takes out everybody. So that was probably
Joker's
one of the
sick
highlights
too,
of season
man.
2.
Benimaru is such a beast, man. I just, that's my boy right now. He's my boy, and him and Captain Obi, those are my go-tos right now. Of course, Shinra's legit because he's obviously the MC, but man, Benimaru is just a beast, and I don't know, man. He'd be my what is it called? Your waifu, about the male version of that?
A meifu? I don't know.
That anime?
It's all about Maki. You're talking about a waifu.
Oh,
yeah. She's jacked.
You got that witch vibe.
Yep, she's jacked too, man. But I'm all for it. Honestly, that whole lineup, just in general, there's some good potential.
We're not mad at it. We're not mad at it.
Not at all. You got Maki. Tamaki's not bad with their Lucky Letrus Luck or whatever it's called.
Yeah, you're always like, what are you doing, bro?
Hibana's solid too. Like, come on, boy. Let's be real. Hey, and vice versa, man. Like Captain Obi's legit. Benimaru, man. Come on now. I know there's some people out there who roll with that Joker type of vibe. Joker's he just has cool personalities.
But they made a good point of trying to make each character within the squad unique.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because they're not all plays off of one another.
I like how they did, how they had like the generations of the fire people too, like generation 1, 2, and 3. And like, what is it, Gen 3 is where you could just create fire on demand. Gen 2, you can manipulate fire or something like that, or however it goes. But man, I kind of like that whole aspect to it because it kind of helps like build their personalities, like what you're saying, and kind of separates them from being a little different than one or the other.
And it is acknowledging the fact that each generation is going to get better. They're going to get stronger because they're building off the generation before them.
Yeah,
exactly. When they're fighting the white clad. Oh, when Shinra was like trying to just go at, what's his
Charon?
name? The big buff dude. Yeah, that guy is legit, man. I mean, I know he's a bad guy. He's the white clad, but that dude got me hyped when they did that. When they were trying to get that little kid with the dollar bears, and he's like gonna do that big old explosion, and that dude just took it all on. Oh man, that part got me hyped, and that was just awesome, man.
Well, and I feel like they've kind of brought Shinra back to earth because at the end of season 1. him and Sho go at it full blast, and they're literally moving at light speed. I mean, there's not too many anime characters that are moving at light speed by the end of the first season, but like I was thinking Shinra at that point, oh, this guy's the GOAT. Like he can take on anybody. But then they roll up season 2, and Shinra's already getting clapped by Charon. He gets clapped by the Ashen Reaper. I mean, so Shinra, they've definitely shown that he's got a lot of room to grow before he's able to handle guys like Benimaru and Joker and Burns.
Yeah. Oh, Burns, man. What? So I like to just kind of think about what direction an anime is going to be heading to. So I try to create a theory in my head of what's going to happen. I haven't read the manga on this at all, so I have no idea. I don't even know how far ahead it is, so I'm just kind of guessing, man. But is Burns, is this dude bad or what? Like, is he is he on the other team? Like, what do you guys think?
I'm kind of getting like a Danzo vibe from Naruto. Like it seems he's trying to. He's trying to do the right thing. He's kind of more for the benefit of Amaterasu and the evangelist.
Yeah.
He's kind of a blue collar guy. He's just trying to go to work and follow his orders. Whereas you see Joker and Benimaru, they're almost more kind of like Itachi or kind of working in the shadows, showing that things aren't really as they appear on the surface.
Man,
I'm seeing it more like an anti-hero type vibe. Like he'll do the good for whatever side he's on, but in the end, he's still going to pick himself over everybody else.
You're talking about Burns specifically? Yeah. I think I don't know. I don't know. I like him as a character, but I was getting hyped when him and Joker were about to scrap. I was like, oh, let's get it, man. This is what I kind of been waiting for, like a high tier level fight like that. But then Benimaru rolls up, and Burns didn't want any smoke at all. He's like, you know what? I'm not gonna fight you guys. Here's this little book that kind of gives you a little hint on what the evangelist is all about, and the Holy Soul Temple is essentially not what it's made to be. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Is he gonna be bad, or you think he's gonna help them in the future? Like, is he gonna turn on them? Like, is he gonna be part of the White Clad, or is he gonna I feel like because me personally, I feel like he's gonna roll on the evil side. Because if you look at who's on the good side right now, I feel like you have to kind of balance the power level off a little bit. Because if you had Burns and then Benimaru on the same side, I'm like, I don't know if there's much of a fight or anyone who could really oppose them.
Well, yeah, and Joker, because generally when Shinra, when they're throwing down with those what are they called, the Holy Knights, it's usually just Squad 8, and Squad 8 can't really bang with them besides Shinra. So yeah, if you had Joker, Burns, and Benimaru, it would be super overpowered. So I feel like they're gonna mix something up, or they're gonna get a little more into we might see the evangelist kind of get on the scene and start actually getting into some action or something.
That would be really interesting to see Burns as a bad guy too, because he was there since the beginning of Shinra's fire. And he's really strong, kind of filling out Shinra the entire first season, seeing how strong he is. I think it'd be cool if he'd played the bad guy side.
So this is how I think it. I don't know. This is me kind of thinking maybe in 2 or 3 seasons we'll be at this point, but I have a feeling he's gonna be, because I feel like he knows more. He obviously knows more than what has been said in the anime, but I feel like he's gonna essentially be part of the evangelist, right? He's gonna fight. I would love to see Burns and Benimaru fight, but I don't think they're gonna fight. I think it's gonna be Burns fighting the 8th. So I think he's gonna be fighting Shinra and Captain Obi or something like that, probably. Maybe Shinra and Arthur, but then I feel like essentially they're gonna beat Burns, right? Somehow, some way. I think it's gonna be tough. I don't know. Maybe Captain Obi dies or something like that, but I think he's gonna a combination of the team in the 8th are gonna beat Burns, but then I feel like the church is gonna do something to where they make it seem the 8th is bad or something like that, because they beat Burns. I don't know if they would. I don't think they would kill him necessarily, because I don't see Shinra really killing people, but I think they're gonna kind of essentially try to turn it and make it seem like the 8th is bad, and then I think essentially all hell's gonna break loose, because it's gonna be the church against the Fire Force people, and then you got kind of the 8th by themselves. But I bet you there's gonna be some of their allies, some other people, other companies from the Fire Force are gonna be there, and it's just gonna be you're gonna have the evangelist, the White Clad versus the church versus the Fire Force people, and it's just gonna be insane. I don't know. That's just my guess.
Yeah,
You have like this multi-sided war, like something from the Lord of the Rings series.
Exactly.
You have the elves fighting, the dwarves fighting.
Yeah. I feel like that's how it's going to go down. And
Yeah, because they... I mean, they could kind of get it into like, you know, how One Piece, the world government, on the surface, it seems like they're the good guys, but really behind the scenes, they're doing a lot of effed up stuff. Because it seems like that's what's going on with like Hajime Industries. They're experimenting on kids, and they're like trying to create new fire demons and stuff. So yeah, if it does get to that point, you could totally see Squad 8 totally like diffracting from the church and actually being, you know, one of the fire departments, and kind of just operating on their own to try to take down the industry and the evangelists.
I think grand scheme of everything, I think Sho is gonna somehow Shinra's gonna get to Sho and like kind of convince him like, hey man, this is wrong, don't follow these people. And then him and Sho are gonna be like scrapping the evangelist, and then like, you know, tag team. That might be the, you know, one of those epic duos that we see in the future. But I don't know, man. I'm kind of excited about this anime. It just keeps getting better and better.
I wanted to see Vulcan create like a mecha suit for Teammate, like a giant mechatronic elephant sick. Or something that they could all hop in, and play more on that idea too. Almost like a fusion type concept.
Yeah, you know who Tyler reminds me of? He kind of reminds me of Arthur.
What the heck, boy?
Dude, Arthur's sick, man. He's just, you know, he's a little absent-minded. Just kidding.
He's got the tarp around his throat and then like the donkey head strapped to his junk.
Yeah. Bro, I see Tyler doing that stuff, man.
I love that fight in season 1 with Arthur at the junkyard, where it's like if you put in Arthur's mind that he's a knight, like he's literally OP, but if Arthur for some reason gets discouraged, he's just garbage. Like he can't do anything. I mean, his power is totally dependent on like his basically his self-confidence.
You know what part I loved in this episode that's going on now, or was it last episode or 2 episodes ago? But when they were down in the Netherworld and they were fighting Dr. Giovanni.
Yeah.
And this dude just like goes, or he like says something funny, like he's in Nirvana state or something like that, and he just goes absent-minded, and he just like literally like teleports, almost like seems like he teleports behind Dr. Giovanni and just slices him up, and he's just like Nirvana or something like that. Shit was just like, no, you just weren't thinking, you idiot. You didn't do anything special. He just couldn't sense you.
I mean, yeah, he's almost similar to Zenitsu in Demon Slayer to an extent. It's like when the conditions are right, Arthur can take down anybody, but when you get him out of his zone, he's just gonna get clapped by like some fodder.
Some fodder. Yep. Sounds like Tyler exactly.
Boy, what the heck? All right, just wait till we get into our versus segment.
Nick reminds me of like, Nick would be like Vulcan. Vulcan, how do you say his name? Like,
that'd be legit. He's like obsessed with animals and just loves tinkering with stuff.
Yeah,
I like that.
We gotta give our engineer that, you know, that type of thing, because you could probably not do that type of stuff. But he does some crazy sick experiment. A great like addition to, as like just as a character in general to like, you know, the 8th. They had good people, man. Tamaki, what do you guys think they're gonna do with Tamaki? Is she ever gonna go back to the 1st, or is she just gonna stay at the 8th?
She's just part of this squad now.
Yeah, they'll probably just
they already baked her in that much.
I like in this last episode they're kind of showing that she's gonna be, you know, giving her a little more character development, because man, honestly, she was kind of trashed there for a moment, man. Everyone, she was like, she would just get like mollywopped, and then like everyone else would try to protect her, and then those people would just get beat up too, or she has to come and get saved. So I'm kind of hoping they make her a little stronger, because that'd be pretty cool.
Well, and it's funny when Captain Obi, he'll just run in there with literally no powers, and he'll just whack someone with a fire extinguisher or an axe, and you're like, bro, you got no powers, but this guy he does not care. He's going balls to the wall. He's going to go out there, be the captain of his squad.
I like that a lot, where he comes with a shotgun and just starts blasting. Yeah. It's legit.
No, that's partly like why he's one of my boys up there with Benny Mario, because this dude has no power, man, but he's like doing like the most out of everyone, even with everyone like with power. And this dude just, you know, trains himself all day, every day, man, just to be a beast and to stand toe to toe with these guys. Like, no one else can do that.
Nogs, I was thinking, you know who you'd be from Fire Force is that dude that dresses up like a dog in a fire costume, and he just holds a.
What the heck? Mascots? He's just being a sucker.
You're the team mascot.
Oh man, those guys like come up in like the halftime break episode. It was like, okay, they were halfway through the episode. Let's show those little weird dogs.
You're like, are these guys pedophiles or what are they doing?
I'd be like Benimaru, son. Come on now.
God. Here we go. Here we go again. Okay.
I don't know about that, my guy.
Okay, if you guys were to give Fire Force a rating, what kind of rating would you give this?
Based on where it is now or based on its potential?
Just
I could see both.
What you give it now? Let's do both. Why not? Like, what do you think?
Okay.
What do you feel about it now, and then in the future, how do you think it's gonna end? Your final rating?
I'm gonna say right now, I'd give Fire Force like a B to a B plus. I mean, they've got some great characters, a cool power system, awesome animation. I think we just need to see a little more character development. We need to get more into the rest of the pillars and kind of more of the backstory of the evangelist. But I think Fire Force has a ton of potential. They kind of get overlooked a little bit just because of how many different shows they're competing with right now. I mean, they came out around the same time as like Demon Slayer, Doctor Stone, all that. So they've got their peers are kind of overshadowing them a little bit. But I think Fire Force definitely could be like a tier anime to this next decade.
Let's go 1 to 10. So you're gonna give it an 8 now, but like in the future, you think it's gonna be like a 10 or like a 9?
I don't know if I could say it would reach a 10 yet. I mean, but then again, if you look at Naruto season 1 and 2 compared to where it ended, it was night and day. So I think it could definitely be like a Naruto or a Bleach if they do several seasons. You know, if they're still operating by like 2028, 29, I'll give it a 10.
First of all, don't ever disrespect my boy Naruto, right? You hear me? Don't you ever disrespect any of those episodes of my presence.
What you talking about?
All right.
Those episodes are trash.
What? Never. There was never a trash episode of Naruto, man.
That's kidding. Questionable.
Come on, man. We all know.
You're about to let me pop off right there. I was about to go on a rant.
The dagger be like, let me talk about those fillers.
I was going to say, we know Naruto like to do some fillers, but we won't get into that. All right, Nick, what are you ranking it? Because we all know we can't trust Tyler's opinion, his rankings, because they're awful. But, let's get some good sound reasoning from Nick over here.
In my book, this is an A class right now, and it could be AA or S class by the end.
Ooh.
They have great potential, great story development. I love the animation. You got like this punk rock type of vibe. You have the classic clash between brothers. It's just got so much potential, and I haven't kind of watched it on the side to anything else. When I'm watching Fire Force, that's what I'm watching. I'm not on my phone. I'm not screwing around with something else, and that's how you can tell it's a good anime.
This guy went big. This guy said A to AA.
Yeah, what are you thinking?
I think I'm kind of like there with Tyler, honestly, even though I'm ragging on his opinion. But I'm like, right now, I think we're at a B, and I think, it's going to progress to like an A. So, like, if I'm giving it a number, I think 8 right now, and probably like a 9 in the future. 8.5 probably, but I don't know.
That's still pretty solid.
I feel like there's a couple things where it could do to like, it's going to make it skyrocket, and obviously like better character development, which is bound to come as this anime goes on. But I feel like, for me, I feel like what animes do really good, sometimes I like kind of put it in my top tier list. I feel like they're going to have to really kind of get you emotionally attached to a character, and then kill one of them off, because then that adds such a huge emotional like aspect to the anime that kind of like boom gives it another layer, another aspect to bam, like this anime was like right here at an 8, now it's a 9, now it's like a 9.5 type of deal.
But they have to kill him off for good. It can't be one of those things like with Optimus Prime where they kill him off and bring him back 20 times.
Yeah.
You have to kill him off, that's it. He's gone.
Or like how we talked about Decadence, and then they brought back the Master at the very end.
Yeah, no comment on Decadence, but I think they also they kind of need to give Shinra like a sensei, kind of like a Jiraiya or a Kakashi, and someone who's really going to put him through some training to kind of get him to the next level.
That's what it seems like they're trying to do with Benimaru. Like in this last episode, he's training with them again. He's trying to help like just develop Shinra more now. So him and Arthur are doing a little bit of training, which is cool. But like, there's not someone who he's like truly under their wing yet. Like, cause I don't
know how you do that though.
It's gonna be tough.
No one else on his level of power.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Especially with a dollar burst. That's like hard to like just teach in general because no one has it really.
Well, except for Burns, right? So maybe what if Burns does become like a good guy and ends up kind of being his Jiraiya? Because Burns has that right eye Adola burst or Adola link.
Yo, he's the Adola link, but he doesn't have like the Adola burst, right? That's different. Yeah. So, but I don't know, man. I think Burns is gonna be evil.
No.
I just have a feeling he's gonna be evil. There's like no way he's good. They make him seem to be like he's gonna be like this really good guy who's like super strong, but nah, I'm like, you can't have Burns and Benimaru on the same team. Like, and I don't think Benimaru is gonna, because Benimaru is like not necessarily good or evil. He's definitely not evil, you know what I mean? But he definitely doesn't really follow the rules of like, you know, having to like listen to, you know, all the rules of being like the Fire Force. But Burns is definitely gonna be evil. I mean, I wouldn't say definitely, but like there's like
so he turns and kills Benimaru, and that's how it comes out as being like the bad guy.
Nah, there's no way. There's no way he kills Benimaru. Maybe he kills like Captain Obi or something like that.
Oh,
that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
Like,
yeah, I could see that.
Like Captain Obi and like Shinra or like Arthur, like, or maybe even Arthur too. Like all three of those guys are fighting Captain Burns. Because that's like probably the like worst matchup for Captain Obi. Like, you know, if he fought like a super like overpowered, you know, guy that like can control fire like Burns or Benimaru, I think he would definitely lose. But like against the white clad people, I feel like he'll always overcome them somehow, some way. But oh man, that would be an interesting death that would happen. That would kind of really catapult this anime. That'd be like, I feel like this would have to be like season 5 or season 6, like right towards the end of the anime or something. Whenever that would be to happen, like not anytime soon, but.
Yeah, I mean, because the way they've laid it out, it is the type of anime where they could do a time skip later on. I mean, most of the main characters are pretty young, and they've kind of got that squad thing going, like Black Bulls or Straw Hats, not black. What did I say last week? Black Bulls when I was talking about Black Clover. But yeah, we could see a time skip here in the next couple where Shinra gets a lot of. Oh, I'm excited to see what happens.
One question I had for you guys on this one, you might know, what's anime's obsession with like this Catholicist or Taoist mindset? How come each of them always have like that angel, devil, priestess, priest type vibe to it somewhere? I don't know why they love playing off of that storyline so much, but it seems common in a lot of animes.
I think, I know now, like religion in general is kind of, I wouldn't say popular, but it's big in Japan. Well, I mean, it could be whatever type of religion it is, but I've known, like, over the years, it's gotten, like, more popular to, like, in something kind of that, you know, it kind of has, like, that Catholicism type of feel to it, but I know, like, you know, Christianity over there has kind of, you know, increased and so maybe that's why I think a lot of these guys believe in a higher power, whatever it is, like a lot of these anime creators, so I think that's why we see it pop up in a lot of these animes too. And I mean, they just make good stories in general, you know what I mean? It's hard to argue with that.
Well, and it is interesting too how they get a lot into the occult in a lot of animes. Like One Piece, you've got the devil fruits. In a lot of animes, you've got, you know, Death Note, you've got the Shimigamis, the demon. So there is a lot of, they definitely dive a lot into that in various anime.
Demons and angels. Oh man, 7 deadly sins.
Yeah, Blue Exorcist. I mean,
just that whole thought of like a character possession by some higher power in general.
Exactly.
It's just very common.
You do see it. It makes good animes because it automatically just sets up that, like, you know, you got that one side versus another, so it's kind of just easy to build off of that. Interesting to see where it's going, man. So it kind of seems for Fire Force specifically, it kind of seems the church is a little shady. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this whole storyline plays out with them, because the Holy Soul, like, well, because it's already been confirmed, right? Like, what was that guy's name who essentially found the Holy Soul Temple? Raffles or something like that? Oh, yeah. What was his name?
Raftles the Third. They already confirmed that he basically...
That one dude...
Yeah, he impersonated him, and the guy in the white clad, he's the one that actually founded the Holy Church.
He's the one... Yeah, because that's what the book that Captain Burns gave them, right? Because they were talking about, like, that Raftles, whatever his name is, kind of, you know, had a personality change, and then they kind of, you know, sound like things kind of went shady after that, so... It kind of doesn't look good for the church over there, so we'll see. Laughton.
All right. So you boys ready to get into this meat and potatoes right here?
What you know about meat and potatoes? Tyler eats like Tyler eats kale chips and zucchini noodles, or what are they called? Zoodles.
All right, y'all ready to get into
Don't be talking about meat potatoes, man. Don't ever come talking to me about meat and potatoes again.
All right, let's get into our avocados.
When's the last time you actually had
potatoes? How about that?
If you could drink something that was like more earthy than water, you probably would.
Don't disrespect me. Yeah, you're right. You're right though. I'm out here eating cauliflower pizza, little avocado toast.
One of these days we're gonna have a video. You guys just could see my face just staring at Tyler right now, knowing that he was full of it right there. This guy knows. I mean, Tyler, he takes his grass shots or whatever they're called. Like, it's all right. But don't ever talk to me about meat and potatoes again in my presence, all right? How many times we gotta tell you this?
Boy, it's just a Phoenix thing. If y'all ever come out to Phoenix, you know what it's about. You gotta wear your Lululemon, have some lavender ice cream, get a cinnamon latte.
I don't know about that, man.
Just live life.
You know what that means? That just tells me you got soft out there. You got soft.
Nah, boy. That's like
lavender ice cream. I mean, I would try it. Don't get me wrong, man. But I wouldn't brag about eating lavender ice cream.
You know what? I bet our boy eats lavender ice cream.
This guy's putting disrespect to the Fat Boys anime. I eat lavender ice cream and some kale chips, lightly salted, sea salt on top of that. Get out of here.
You know, all I'm gonna say is y'all probably thought Naruto got soft, but then he showed out that full Kurama mode, baby. That's what happens when you come out to Phoenix and you try to press your boy Tyler. But so this versus matchup, I'm gonna get into Light Yagami, codename Kira versus
from
Death Note versus Lelouch Lamperouche, aka Lelouch via Britannia, a.k.a.
Lelouch Lamperouche de Britannia. Get it right, man. Come on, now.
A.k.a. Zero, leader of the Black Knights.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Talk about two absolute masterminds.
So what are we going to do? Okay, let's talk about it. Are we kind of discussing who's smarter between the two? Or are we going to kind of like, if they grew up in the same universe and they're pinned against each other, like who's going to win?
Yeah, the way I'm looking at this is if they're both in their disguised form,
yep,
and you drop them into the same universe, who would find and kill the other first, right? If they don't know who each other are, because one just has to find out their name, right, in their face, and the other he just has to look them in the eye.
So this is how I see it, right? So like we're putting them in an alternate world where they live together. Essentially, I think it's gonna mimic kind of that of Code Geass. But then I feel like Light is going to be the one who's going to be like, all right, I'm going to see this dude on the news, going to see this dude Zero on the news and like get ready to stop him and try to kill or pretty much kill him essentially or not kill him. I like it.
Well, the other thing is, do we drop them with their technology from their series or in today's technology? Because, for example, if you drop Light Yagami in 2020, he could just hop on Facebook, find all of Zero's friends, and just murder them one by one.
Boy, you ever bring that argument in my face again? I'm gonna just end this phone call right now with you, okay? We're gonna hop on Facebook and find his name. Come on now,
bro. He's gonna follow all the Black Knights on Twitter and be like, black.
I mean, they probably would kind of be put out there a little more. But what do you mean, man? Like, come on now. Everyone the closest to Lelouch didn't even know Lelouch was Zero. Like, come on now.
But he does have some point of like the technology aspect. Do you give Lelouch a mecha suit?
Well, that's what. Yeah,
or
that's
are they
true.
both just like their individual personalities in the same modern day type society?
So I feel like this is how it's gonna be, right? Like. Right, so Light's gonna be chilling at school on the news one day. He's gonna see this homeboy in this like mecha suit, just like kind of doing his thing, trying to overthrow the government. And then he's gonna see that Light's gonna essentially be like, "No, this needs to stay. This order needs to stay. So I need to kill this guy, and then so I can become the ruler." And then he's gonna essentially do his own thing. But do we really think Light can? Do we think Light can figure out Lelouch's name? Do we think Light could kill Lelouch? Like, I don't think so. I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, first of all,
the way I went about this is like, what is their downfall?
Yep.
What is Zero's downfall? What is Kira's downfall? For Lelouch, it's a sister Nonali, right?
Yep.
That's it, like his one thing he couldn't get past his sister until she died. And for Light, I think it was more of his pride.
Yeah.
Light was kind of more about selfish ambition. He thought, oh, I could never be taken down. I'm the best there is out there. So for him, it was just more of his sense of pride, where Lelouch, it was his commitment to his sister.
Okay, who do you think the smarter one between two is? Let me ask you that question.
Well, I mean, I'll say there's two different things. So first, Lelouch, I mean, he took on an entire empire, which is pretty impressive. But I would say the one thing you got to hand to Light is that he operated literally. He worked on the team that was trying to find him with a team of other geniuses. And throughout most of the series, he navigated and outsmarted a guy who was in L, who was almost as smart as Light, if not maybe more smart. I mean, L is a top
Did you say outsmarted?
Level. That guy is a genius.
I don't know if he outsmarted Light. I think Light outsmarted him. I think that's why Light ended up getting captured was because of Al. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think Al is smarter than... He was smart. I mean, I think it was kind of hands down that Al was smarter than Light. To me personally, I think that... I mean, I think, like, right, you got, like, almost pretty much 1A, 1B, but I think Al was 1A still. But, like, kind of, like, he had to sacrifice himself, though, in order to figure it out.
You do gotta say that L was a harder opponent than Suzaku.
Oh, yeah.
Or, like, the Emperor of Britannia. So...
The Emperor was a full... But, like... So, like... Right, so Light's just going up against essentially really one person. He's going to be up against Al. Because let's be real, like all the, the whole police department or the detectives were all involved, but they weren't really doing much. It was always Light and Al. You had Lelouch versus the whole world, minus his Black Knight people, but he was literally he was the one, like his mastermind plans versus, his whole, like trying to overthrow the Empire. And that's just like on a whole different level of thinking.
But I think Light could scale to do the same thing. Because he has the same, not just powers to kill someone, but power to manipulate someone before they die.
That's true.
So he could still order a whole army of people around. And I think given that opportunity, if you put Light up against an entire empire, he would probably fare just as well as he did.
I think, I mean, I could see it. I could definitely see it, but I just don't think he felt, because that's so many, because like, his downfall is he has to figure out their name, right? And I don't think he can figure out all these people's names casually like that, which is the tough part.
Well,
no one could figure out who Lelouch was. Like, Lelouch is the one who gave himself up.
Okay, so I did a little research because I haven't watched Death Note in probably like 3 years. But so they said Light, he has the ability, when he's in possession of the notebook, he can trade away half of his lifespan for the Shimigami eyes, which this is actually why he died, because he didn't do that. But with his Shimigami eyes, he can just look at someone and he can see their true name and when they're going to die. So in theory, if Light did make this deal, he trades away half of his lifespan. He would have the ability where he'd have to find Lelouch, but if he found Lelouch, he could look at him and then he could write it down, bada bing, bada boom. Bam!
Now, you know why? Because if they're living in an alternate universe, Light would need Lelouch essentially to do all the heavy lifting and overthrow the Empire so he could rule. Light can't rule the Empire without Lelouch doing all the heavy lifting. You know what I mean?
That's true.
And besides,
does it work for either of them if they see someone through the television? Like if Lelouch, can he command people by seeing them on TV, or did he have to see them in person?
I think
because if you think like Light, he just needs to know somebody's name and imagine their face, right?
Yeah.
So he could see their face on television and write their name down.
But he would never.
So he might have more of a distance advantage.
Yeah.
He's almost more of a sniper, whereas Lelouch is he's like a heavy automatic machine gun. Because if he's in a crowd of 1 million people, I mean, it seems like he can attack as many people as he wants to with the Geass, but he doesn't have. But I don't think he can just go on TV and watch him. I mean, the one thing is when he took down his dad, Charles, he threw those pieces of mirror, and his vision was able to reflect off the mirror pieces, and then he got Charles. But I don't think he just see them on television or throw up a projector screen like a Sharingan or something.
Oh man, this is tough. Wait, honestly, the one thing we haven't even talked about though is Lelouch's Geass. Like his special ability. We just kind of been talking about Light's special ability. You know what I mean? Like we just kind of talked about Light being able to recognize his name, and do we even know if Light would even be able to see Lelouch's face?
Well, that is the problem for Light. Let's say Zero, if Lelouch, if he's in his Zero costume, he's literally never going to reveal his identity. And if this is a long, drawn-out battle, he could command as many people as he wants to say, all right, I'm tracking down this guy, Light Yagami. He could build an entire army, which is one thing that Light can't necessarily.
Because if Zero finds out the truth of Kira's powers, he could just wipe his name from the existence of the Earth. He could just manipulate everyone to forget his name. So it's literally only he knows it.
Yeah.
Then there's no way to kill him.
Well, and I would say, I mean, even though Lelouch wasn't necessarily dealing with a guy like L, who I think is probably equal footing super genius, I mean, he did have all of Britannia and his schoolmates, and I mean, even the Black Knights were trying to figure out his identity. Pretty much didn't reveal his identity. He had to. He wanted to.
And his power still could have been getting stronger. He didn't get to the full extent of what Geass could actually do before the end of the show.
Oh man, this is just so tough for me. At the end of the day, all right, I'm just gonna say who I'm picking, who I think is smarter, and who I think would win in the 1v1, or if they're in the alternate universe. I'm picking Lelouch to win at the end of the day, because all right, here's my like couple reasons behind it. I think the Geass at the end of the day would be a better power to have than the Death Note, and I think the biggest reason is I think Light got essentially why he ended up losing. He got a little arrogant, and I think he would get arrogant again in this alternate universe that would cost him his life or would cost him losing. And then, oh man, I think that's just those are the two main reasons for me. I like the Geass better, and then I think Lelouch kind of did more manipulating and had a better mastermind like plan on a larger scale. He kind of did a little more, and I think he eventually, I don't know, I feel like Lelouch was legit the smartest person in his anime, whereas Light wasn't the smartest person in his anime, and then he goes arrogant, and then he got caught slipping, and he ended up dying.
Yeah, I mean, when we first said we were going to get into this topic, I was like, okay, hands down, I think Light's got this. But as I did more research, I also forgot that if he misspells someone's name 4 times in the Death Note, that name no longer works, and he can no longer kill that person. So, I mean, if you're trying to track down Zero, and he goes by Lelouch Lamperouge, but his real name's Lelouch via Britannia, I mean, that could mess him up. He's gonna try Lamperouge maybe 3 or 4 times, trying to misspell it, and then the Death Note doesn't even work. So I don't know. I don't know if he can take out. He might be outmatched.
I think this may be one of the only times we all agree on the same thing. I think Zero's got this hands down. There's no way Light's gonna win with his arrogance behind him.
You know, my other hot take though, all right, so if I put them in the same world, this is how I think it ends up. And honestly, I think it ends the same exact way as Code Geass eventually ended, right? So this is how I see it. Lelouch is going to put in all the heavy work to like make, overthrow the empire, make the world better, but then he's still going to have to sacrifice himself, right? So I think essentially he's going to partner up with Light, and then he's going to be like, yo, Light, this is my name, yada, yada, yada. Write my name down in the book because I need to die in order for this place to be really better. Boom. Same exact ending, but, Light does it at the end of the day.
I could see that.
Or Al just comes in and then kills Lelouch and Light.
I mean, it's funny. These animes, because they basically came out around the same time. I think they both dropped in 2006. It's almost like 2 manga writers kind of had the same competing idea, because you've got 2 super geniuses. They both think that they know what's best for the world. They use their powers to try to basically become the god of their universe. They're both psychopaths to an extent, but I mean, Lelouch, he kind of accomplished his goal. Even though he ended up dying, he did what he came to do. Whereas Light, he kind of took a L there at the end. So you'd almost say he's the inferior mastermind.
So do you say it's solely based on the person or based on the power too? Like if you switched them, if you gave Lelouch Light's power and vice versa, would you still pick Lelouch to win if he has the Death Note and Light has Geass?
Ooh.
I think I'm picking Lelouch because he has a stronger will, not necessarily because of the power.
Yeah. So honestly, I think and part of me, like back to my 2 reasons why I picked Lelouch. Again, so like if I put them in, like let's say if we switch the characters and put them in the other one's anime, I don't think Light is able to accomplish what Lelouch did. I think he essentially dies before that, because he gets too cocky and arrogant and shoots himself in the foot. Whereas where if Lelouch is in Death Note, I think he is a little more cautious, doesn't get that cockiness, even though he did mess up a couple times in his own anime, but I think he would still be able to essentially accomplish what he would want to at the end of the day, because he is more level-headed than Light was.
Yeah, and he definitely took a couple chinners and kept moving. I mean, first he loses Euphemia, accidentally basically ends up having to kill her. Then Shirley dies, and he handled that pretty well, even though Rolo, his brother, and then he thinks his sister dies, and he just keeps on trucking. I mean, I would say he operates under pressure, I think, a little bit better than Light does.
I think so. But I'm trying to think though, what if Ryu comes into play now? What if he's like, you know what, I'm gonna ride with you, Light, and like use more of his powers and stuff? Do you think Light makes that sacrifice of essentially sacrificing half his life to see his Lelouch's true name? You know what I mean?
If he gets desperate enough, I think he would do anything, right?
Yeah. But then part of me wonders like if he wouldn't though, right? Because I think kind of like what Tyler was saying earlier is that, you know, he didn't want to do that, and that's what kind of cost him his life, you know, because he was, you know, kind of wanting it all. Like he wanted to kill everyone, but he wanted to preserve his life to the max. You know what I mean?
I mean, if he does, I think it's kind of game over, because that's super. You can just look at someone. I mean, he could even just see them on television, see their full name, when they're gonna die, and that's a wrap. But again, I think he might be even more prideful than Lelouch, because that was ultimately his downfall. That's why he ended up dying, because he wasn't willing to make some sacrifices to gain more power. Whereas Lelouch arguably kind of is. I mean, he'll even kill off teammates, school members. I mean, he is down for the cause. Like, he's gonna do whatever he needs to do to put the dagger in your throat and blah, take you out.
You know who Tyler reminds me of? Ryuk.
What the heck?
No, he's Misa.
No.
It's true.
It's not just what we think, though. You guys should hop on and vote on who you think is best on our Twitter, right? Where can you find us, Tyler?
You can find us on Fat Bois Anime. Boys is BOIS. On Instagram, we're just Fat Boys Anime. On Twitter, we are Fat Boys Anime. So we're gonna have the poll on Twitter, on Instagram. Tell us what you think. I think we kind of feel like Lelouch takes it, but y'all might have a different opinion. So thanks for listening, guys. Have a good one. Get ready for our next episode. Peace out.
See ya.